Great.
So the reason why I scheduled this call is we've had a few new people sign up in the last week. And, it's very overwhelming when you first get started. It's trying to handle, what are the products do, when you're supposed to use them, where do you put them? What do I buy for me and my family? It's a lot, right? So I kind of just try and handle that first. And then I say to them, okay, once you're settled in that, then we're going to talk business and look at it as two separate things. There's your personal health and what you require for your family and your friends. And then as a business, we'll do a different conversation with that. So this is the different conversation about how to get started with your business, what's required, talking about going manager, and then how to, so if I give you a personal perspective, this crazy thing happened. It's holding manager has been quite a challenge for me. And then I signed up someone silver on my right leg, which would have put me back into qualification for manager because I'd lost my qualification because not all the silvers bought in time. And then that happened, and then the left leg lost the silvers. I'm still not manager again. I was going, I'm a sausage. But anyway, we can have a conversation about that. But Haley's now on. Haley is new. She signed up yesterday. And I have Haley. There's Haley.
Hello.
So I'd like the conversation to start off for them. They're brand new. They've just ordered their patches. They signed up yesterday. What do they do next? And I have a couple of people that signed up recently. So this is what do we do next phone call for newbies?
Okay, look, several things. Hi there, Haley and Roderick. How are you? Welcome. I'm George. I'm on the island of Mallorca in Spain. I am the person who invited Candice, and one person tells another, and one way or another, there's something like 7,000 people in South Africa now. So that's very exciting. Look, just before you came in, Jenny asked a question or told me that in many cases what she talks about is the product first, and then she talks about what else we're offering. I'm going to give you a little perspective on that, if I may. So, Jenny, look, I tell people right at the beginning, we're offering 4 things here. And, people, they often have resistance about, maybe they need money, but they have a resistance about saying I need money or something. I'm not quite sure what it is. However, that said, what we're offering here is 4 things. Improved physical and health and improved well-being. That's 1. Improved emotional health. That's number 2. What do I mean by that? The number of people who've told me things like, I'm in a much better mood, or it's very hard for me to be in a bad mood these days, or you can't imagine the joy this has brought to our family, because when one family member becomes healthy and isn't in a critical situation, that rebounds on the rest of the family. That's number 2. And then spiritual health. What does that mean? When I think that I could have easily missed this because I said, no, I'm not interested. No, I'm not interested in stem cells. No, I'm not interested. If I think that had I missed that, there are literally thousands of people around the world whose health wouldn't be better. And every day I get amazing testimonials. In the beginning, on my first call, somebody got on the call and said, I get testimonials every day. And I said to myself, I'll believe him, but I'm going to be cautious. I get amazing testimonials every day between my Spanish groups and English groups. And we got a group for doctors and medical professionals and health professionals. So, and the other health we offer is financial health. Now, I was in Lisbon, I was on the stage, and there were 430 people in the room. And I said to them, who here hears people telling them, yes, we want the health that LifeWave can offer? A lot of people put their hand up. And then I said, okay, who here's got financial anxieties? 50, 60 people put their hand up. Then I said, who here hears people saying, we're interested in health, but not so much about the money side of things. And the room laughed. And I said, well, I'm going to say something now that's maybe counterintuitive. The money the LifeWave sends us is an expression of our success in helping other people with their lives and health. So therefore, this is when I really understood it. When there was 1,000 people in my organization, I went to myself, wow, I don't know all these 1,000 people, but from these people, I've heard so many amazing stories that the logical conclusion to that is go out, make a fortune. Because the more money you make, the more people you're helping, the more people you're reaching, to whom you're reaching. So whereas you may be reticent, Jenny, to talk about that in the beginning, I would encourage you to do so. Why? Because, as people come into LifeWave, yes, there's a lot to learn, but I tell people don't bother to learn everything in the beginning, because your time will go by and you'll experience patches and you'll learn a little bit, but don't try and put it all in your head. I'm somebody who takes things apart, tries to understand everything. I tried to understand the compensation plan. I'd call Ireland for some information. I thought, oh, okay, I understood it. Then it did something different. And I go, oh, what happened there? And I call them again. I go, oh, I understood it. And it did something different until finally I did. But on the way, I was receiving money because unlike, like many people, I was, after COVID, my businesses really suffered with COVID. I had 3 businesses. One died completely. It was something for the restaurant business. Let me just tell Brian something. Brian, deja abierto para que llego al enchufe, yeah? So, one was for the restaurant business. We done 2 years talking with a possible investor. After 2 years talking with his lawyer and his tech people and doing a test with 100 restaurants here, he said, yep, we want to go ahead. And he was going to put in $1.5 million for the first investment, and committed to, we were going to give him 51% of the company and committed to keep reinvested till we make it huge in the States. I was in the States, we set up the company, blah, 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 blah. The whole thing fell apart with COVID. Another one, also, it was to do with local government license, and they were all sitting at home, working from home, but doing nothing. And we lost over a year on that, and we weren't able to keep financing the property that anyway, it's a long story, but 2 businesses fell apart. So I was looking for something, but my original thought was, nah, I'm not interested in stem cells. And until I saw David Schmidt, because basically I'd heard of them, they were made of aborted fetuses, stolen placentas, and other species. The whole thing sounded barbaric to me. So that's why my reaction was that. And then that person said to me, no, this is different. I'm going to send you a video, 36 minutes, only 36 minutes. I said, what are you, crazy? You want me to watch a 36-minute video? I'm not going to do that. And please, please, promise me, promise me, promise me, promise me, promise me. Finally, I said, oh, okay, I'll promise. Okay. And the following Sunday, I said to myself, I promised, so I better watch it. And that's when I saw David Schmidt speaking to health professionals about his technology and about X39. And that's when I said, I want to try this. And then I said immediately, I want to talk to somebody who's been working with this company for a while. Thus, I got to speak with Javi Solis, who some of you know, who they're here on holiday actually this week. So the first thing I said to Javi is, I was never going to do this again. He said, me either. And then he told me the story of what happened with their boy, Alex, who was autistic, is autistic. They tried everything. They were told he'd been institutionalized for life. Then the next thing, they went to Mexico. They had 2 stem cell shots each time, a single shot, $8,000 each shot, plus flights from New York for his wife, 3 boys, hotel, food, a lot of money. And that's when Mike called him and said, I'm going to send you these patches. And they're like, wait a minute, patches that cost $100 a month? What are they going to do? We just spent over $20,000 on the trip. You know, they were equating it with like money. That's a joke. However, Olga said, listen, the worst thing we can do is nothing, let's try. 10 days later, I've been in their house, they're looking out the window, and you can't quite see the whole garden from the kitchen. And they see Alex appearing on the swing like this. And they go, wait a minute, who's pushing him? Did the other boys go out, or did we miss it? Aren't they upstairs still? The other two boys were still upstairs. Alex had gone out, got on the swing by himself, and was swinging with a smile from ear to ear. Previously, they had to put a helmet on him because he would bang his head against the floor in frustration. They could never travel with him. I met him now in Mexico, in, where was it, Orlando, Florida, and in here now. Really, really sweet boy. Their life has changed completely and utterly. And that's when he said, so when I met him, he was 4 months into LifeWave, and we kind of understood each other very quickly. On the second call, I said, I got to go now because it's my birthday in 4 minutes. He said, I don't believe it, it's mine too. So we share the same birthday. I said to him, okay, Javi, you've been working with this for how long? He said 4 months. All right. How many people in your organization? He said 900. I said, well, if this guy can have 900, I can have 1,000. It's a world of 8 billion. And I said, so how many did you invite? He said 25. I said, all right, 25. How many are actually doing something? He said about half. I said, how many are really doing something? He said 5 to 6. I said, so this guy's telling me the truth because, you know, Pareto principle, 80-20 rule, basically 20%, I'm going to turn this down so I don't get distracted, 20% are doing it. Now, his organization, I don't know the final number, but I do know the money he's receiving, which is astounding. It's like 10 times what I'm receiving, which I'm happy to show you. So the thing with this is, how our first rank is to be manager. What does that mean? We want to have to ourselves be on a gold pack and to have 2 people on each leg who are in silver and above. So that will make us manager. And to be director, we need to have 3 people on each leg, one of whom on each leg we've helped to be manager. My thought was immediately to tell enough people that I had 6 managers on each leg so that I don't ever drop down for being director. So yeah, I'm now in the top rank of the company, senior presidential director. But this week I woke up being director. There's a guy in Mexico who has to make his order, and he's just sent me a message saying I sent him the picture, and he's gonna check it, and he will get himself back to his director status, and I'll be back to my senior presidential manager status. The status is valuable because it allows you to be in something called the leadership pool, which is calculated every 3 months. And when that happens, there is a whole there's a quarterly payout, a quarterly bonus payout, which is super exciting. We have also Feroza here on the call. Hi, I think it's Feroza, not with my glasses. Yeah, I very rarely need to use my glasses these days. I went after 18 months to my optician, and she said your eyes haven't changed at all. The use of X39, the effect is continuous and cumulative. So there are the person I know who the most time has used X39 went to her dentist, and he said after 3 years, he said, your gums have completely recovered. This never happens. What are you doing? That's amongst other things. But I'd like to hear you talk. Tell me, what is it you see here? What is it you want out of this? You unmute. Unmute. I got it.
There we go. George, thank you for that. Thank you for the intro and for the welcome. We've just had our primary exposure through Jenny Watkins. Firstly, thank you for covering the 4 points. And those are things that make huge sense to me. I'm at a point, we both are, where we
Oh, and check this out. This car's Hummer.
I'll mute them out.
okay. Yeah, our health can get a boost. Emotionally, we're also still trying to address quite a few issues between ourselves and when dealing with our interpersonal relationships. Spiritually, there's always room for improvement there. And then financially also, I've seen how things have picked up for us with just the other stuff that Heidi's been exposed to with her host of friends and with the suggestions that they've made. So I'm completely open to that. The point that you made about don't try and get everything in all at once, that also appeals to me because I'm trying the philosophy of living in the moment. And I have to try not to get as much information about everything. I did do a bit of homework on it, but at the same time, I thought leave the brain side of it out and also just look at what has happened to people with what it's done for them in their lives. And when I look at the reviews, the testimonials, they are amazing. The other thing is also, as I mentioned with Heidi's got these buddies of hers, these host of friends. And I tend to view their suggestions with loads of credibility. I've seen the changes that have happened in her life. I've adopted a few, and even though I've been selective, I can see how and where they've helped me. So I'm open to taking on this the X39 course also.
Let me ask you a question. Have you used the patches yet, or you're
No,
about to?
not yet.
Okay.
But that brings me to my next point, George. When I was younger, I had a try anything once approach. But now I'm still doing it, but with the good stuff. With the good stuff.
So let me just, before you continue, tell you this. Now I can feel your energy, and I can feel what I can tell you is that the use of X39 with the two of you, you will notice things very, very quickly over 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, 2 weeks. It's quite astounding. The energetic, let's call it the energetic change in energy. Then the first thing I noticed was more energy, more focus. And on day 3, I grind my coffee every day, and I used to have to stop every 80 turns of the manual grinding, 260 turns, so 2 stops. On the 3rd day, I said to my daughter, wow, I just did all the turns without noticing it. That was the very first thing. But there is a big energetic mental change. So things should get lighter for you.
Okay.
In that sense, and then everything else flows beyond that. I don't know if they've given you the health tracker. Jenny, are you aware of the health tracker? So do give it to them, because this health tracker is a very simple document where you put in some numbers before, after 24 hours, 3 days, 7 days, 14 days. And people who've done it have seen the numbers change dramatically. Quality of sleep, level of pain, a whole series of things which you give them numbers. Excuse me just for a moment. I've been waiting with this guy to call all day. I'm going to mute for a second.
Hello, everybody. I'm Cans. I'll just fill in the blank space. Okay, George is finished.
I'm back. I just told him somebody who's arranging a boat rental. I have a boat I rent out in the summer, which was the only one of the 3 businesses that survived COVID. It survived COVID with an extra year's work and 60,000 euros of money. because it was in Italy being attended to, but they couldn't get the right workers because they didn't have the permit to leave the city limits, and the people who did the work didn't know anything about boats, and basically I had to change every single screw in the boat because they used regular metal, not stainless steel. So big mess. Okay, so here I would like you to continue, and maybe tell me what is it you. I'm going to tell you this. I was on a call the other day with a lady. She's Spanish. She was in Turkey at the time, and she told me about her life. And I said to her, "So tell me, what is the and the life she wants?" I said, "What is the number that would give you the life you want? What's that number for you?" And she said to me, she gave me her number, and I said, "That's possible. I'm almost there after 2 years." So I'm going to open my back office in a minute. Not even 2 years, 20 months. So tell me a little bit about your lives and what is it that you want to achieve on the money side?
We haven't got to that point yet, George. I haven't. I don't know what it is bandied about in her mind, but I do know that it is something that we can tackle. So we will be looking at that also.
Okay, but you can
that's
certainly say. I mean, I don't know what how you're. I'm going to say it like this. There is a lady called Sandy Feist. She's 72 now. Her husband's 80. They had their pension stolen somehow and all their savings stolen on some of those South African money scams that are around. They had to sell their house, car, and she didn't have any money to come in. But she said, "You know what? I trust George. I trust Xavi. I trust the person called Chris who introduced her to it. I'm going to start." She didn't have money to buy any products. She came in with a starter pack for $25. I think she even borrowed that money. And she's now second to top rank in the company, presidential director, only from helping other people. Not from selling anything, not from pushing anything, just sending her vibe out, her frequency out, and people coming towards her. And now, I believe your average wage in South Africa is $500 a month. Yeah, and anyway, she's receiving between $2,800 and $3,000 a week. So it's totally changed their life and their future. She's been able to buy a car for them. They kept one car for her husband, but they were having always to share a car. Then she was able to buy a brand new car. That's changed their daily life dramatically. But much more than that, I was on a call with some of her people who said to her, "Thank you for not waiting. My mother's in a much better condition and I've got a business." There's a lady called Ragini who now hit director rank, and she was also back against the wall after COVID. So we are offering more than just one thing here. However, a lot of people have a reticence about all of those things. A lot of people say, "I've got to see if the patches work in me before I can tell anybody." Go, okay, I said the same. However, when I told a buddy of mine 2 hours and 20 minutes, his tinnitus dropped in half. Cans knows him. I believe Xavi immediately, but obviously when I heard that from my first person I recommended the patches to, and he said that, I went, wow, now I have a story of my own to share. So for the beginning, share other people's stories till you have stories of your own to share. It's one thing what you see in you, and then it gets very powerful what you see in other people. I'll ask Candice to say something on that. I'm sure she or Jenny or Deb have got something to say about what they've seen in other people, not in themselves. Deb, for example, you raise your eyebrow.
Exactly like
What? Say again?
Go, Cans.
No, I was just saying, I was exactly like George. He begged me for months to watch a video. And I was like, "George, you know how busy I am. I don't have space for anything else. I've got a lot of responsibilities." And he was like, "Please, please, please." And then one day he got me on a date. I had really bad eczema on my wrist that I've never had It's from stress. And he got me and he was like, "What's wrong with you? You sound really upset." And I said, "My wrists are freaking out. My skin is all over the place." And he was like, "For goodness sakes, woman, I've been trying
I
to
keep
tell
telling
you about this thing. Please just watch this. I'll send you a 2-minute video. I won't even ask you to watch 36." So I watched the 2-minute video on phototherapy and I was like, "Oh my goodness, George, why didn't you say it was frequency healing, energy healing?" I was like totally sold in that moment. And then pretty soon I signed up with him because I was still really busy. I said to him, "I'll sign up on Silver, no problem. Just don't expect me to build the business. Please, I'll use the product. I'll buy it every month, whatever you need me to do, but don't expect more out of me. I can't." And I was blessed enough that George signed somebody that's he is the top earner, I think, in South Africa. He signed him up underneath me because he didn't know what he was doing at the time. And thank God for that. And I signed up Merle. And Merle also just said she was just going to use the products. And within a few days, her shoulder pain disappeared and she just started sharing it like Sandy Fast with anyone and everyone. And those 2 people, and I was still busy. I was really glad that I got 2 people. I still needed 2 more, which are actually Deb and Jenny that signed up with me. And then I wasn't going to push anybody. I'd done what I needed to do. And that's what I realized in life. LifeWave has taught me so much because I realized in my whole life, I would always just do what I needed to do. I would just do what I needed to do because that was expected of me, you know. And my goodness, seeing the success of those 2 people beneath me, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I was getting money for doing nothing, for literally signing up those people. And I actually had lunch with Jen once, and I just said to Jen, you know, you got to really just look at this business. Like, you've already signed up, you're already in it. All you need to do is just get busy again, and it's there. And in the meantime, my inflammation that I've struggled with for 15 years went down 4 times what it normally is. I didn't have really amazing physical noticeable changes, but blood tests just showed me so much. I was supposed to go on thyroid medication. I don't need to go on thyroid medication anymore. So, and just seeing the people and the growth around me, from people's finances to people's health, like George says, it's just absolutely incredible. So even if you do get the patches and you don't know if they're working, believe you me, you've got copper peptides that are in your body that are producing every time you put that patch on, and it's just through frequency, and your body is changing. So just keep with it, and your world will change. So yeah, sorry, I don't know how I'm going to keep something that I'm supposed to say about LifeWave to 30 seconds. Like, it's going to be quite challenging to keep it to 30 seconds. But yeah, thanks, George. I'm eternally grateful. And I'm so grateful you got me on that day when my health was really doing badly. And I just really did need something in that moment. And I'm so glad that it was something so incredible.
And the people,
hidden technology.
And the people around you, you've seen lots of things happen for them.
So many people around me. I mean, I've on the group that Chris has and on the group that Merle has, there are people that are wearing wheelchairs that can actually have more of a life. Are they fully healed? No. Is it a possibility? Who knows? But the fact is that their life has dramatically changed. And I've seen it with so many people. And it's not an American that's coming onto a Zoom call that's doing a testimonial. These are people that I know through other people. You know, it's just incredible to see that.
So
yeah.
that's,
and I mean, Deb's one of them. I mean, Deb could hardly walk at one stage. She came to stay with me, and literally after that trip, her back was finished. She was in absolute agony. Then she figured out how IceWave works and was sold on that, and has dabbled in some of the other ones, and has only had amazing results. It's so cool.
When a surgeon says surgery to a dancer, you go, I don't think so. And you look for another alternative. No. So just, yeah, I do use carnosine quite a bit, which I absolutely love. And IceWave under my feet. So X39, carnosine, and Icewave for me. And then there's all this other stuff. I mean, it's just, I find it very fascinating. I'm not a very scientific person. I'm more of a visual, but I'm so curious with this thing, man. I watch testimonials. I'm very curious with this, and I'm curious with the business, and I don't push. I'm just, people see me who haven't seen me in a very long time and go, oh my God, you look fantastic. I go, thanks. They go, what you doing? Because, you know, that's the whole thing. What you doing? I go, I'm just patching. Sorry. Just patching. And that's how it starts.
Yeah. So, I asked Candice this the other day, you've got Absolutely Fabulous in South Africa, that show, Ab Fab. Did you ever see it?
Yeah.
So the woman it was made up about, it was her best friend that took the details of her life and turned it into a TV show, which is not very nice to do to somebody. But she then built her business off of that, or part of her business off of it, as a character, a personality. Anyway, she heard David Schmidt speaking on a call about a year ago, and she started buying the products and used them for a year. No thought of doing the business, very far away from the kind of things she does. She heard that I hit the top rank in LifeWave. We know each other 30 years or so. And she called me and she says, I want to do this. I want to do this with you. I want you to help me to be successful. When I told her my money, and she said, well, if I had what you've got in a week, if I had that in a month, that would help me tremendously. So, money is something that so to make it work, what do you need? So that's another question. And I say this a lot, and some people get it and some people don't. But on one hand, I'm just trying to get my hands into the screen. On the one hand, you need persistence and consistency, just like you do in anything. I don't know why, but when I do this, it sends balloons up. It doesn't always work. It's strange. No more balloons. Okay. So on the one hand, you need persistence and consistency, like anything that you do in life. Consistency in, if you're working this, if you want to build this as a business, consistency in using the patches. You can't use the patch one day and then 2 weeks off and then 2 days, and you're not giving your body a chance. What we're doing here with these patches in passing basically is we're setting the stage in the body for the body to heal itself. So persistence and consistency. On the other hand, patience and passion. You can hear I got plenty of passion about this. Patience. Some people tell me I don't have patience, or they don't have patience. There's the balloons again. They say I don't have patience. I said patience we can work on. In between those two hands, you need the desire and willingness to learn. Some people take a year to get to the point where they have a desire to actually learn. I have one person who says, who's receiving about between $200 and $500 a week. And she said, I should be making $10,000 a week by now. Every time she tells me something, she says to me, oh, I've done network 30 years ago. And I know that. And she's still, and it doesn't go anywhere because she's got no willingness to learn. So willingness to learn is important. Then the next thing, all of that is great, but really somewhere around here, you need to have made the decision, I'm going to do this. If you make the decision, I'm going to do this, everything else will follow. But you have to have made the decision, I am going to do this. I'm going to show you my back office. Maybe it's inspiring, maybe it's not. We need back office, not boat rentals. Somebody wants to rent a boat. Predict wind, here we go, LifeWave. So this is the last 5 weeks, and the top number is so far this week. In Europe, we get paid in euros. So this has allowed me to help my
George, we
daughter.
can't see anything, hey?
Oh, sorry. I failed to share screen. Okay, start broadcast. Okay, come on. All right, here we go. All right. So this is the last 5 weeks. You can't quite see the 5th week ago. And the number at the top is the amount that I've received so far this week. The week started at 7 a.m. South Africa time this morning. And, that's astounding. That's life-changing. I've been able to do, replace all the broken equipment in the house, repaint the house, keep people paid who are helping me. I'm able to, my daughter, we sold her car and got another car. I paid half the money for the new car, which is a much better car. There's all sorts of things that have been changed. Paid debt, paid off debt, paid off my credit cards. COVID, friends lent me money, and my credit cards were all at the limit. So this has been huge. So you may find that inspiring, you may not. But for me, when I see Javi's number that's like 10 times that, literally 10 times that weekly, I'm very inspired. And as I said to you, it is kind of counterintuitive, but the more money LifeWave sends us, it's an expression of our success in helping people around the world. There was a guy recently called Warren, and I'll go out of here for now, and so I can see you guys. Stop the share. There's a guy called Warren, 5 years in a wheelchair. There's a woman who Candice knows called Claire. Claire kept telling him for 21 months, try the patches. Didn't pay any attention, The guy's a mountain climber. He had one patch. The next day, he's climbing a mountain wall, one of those climbing walls. The next day, one patch. And if I find the message, if I can find the message, and he does use what my mother would call barrack room language to explain, to talk about what was changing in his life. Hang on, let me go and find this. It'll take me a moment. No, I know who I sent it to. It'll be easier. Parece que seguimos hasta las 8 hoy.
Claro.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Whoops, forwarded.
I think we need to get out of thinking.
There we go. So he says, I'll be happy to share my story. I'm gobsmacked. I'm elated. I'm in heaven. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A gazillion times. The man came to the presentation yesterday with a walking stick. He just did this today. They gave me a video of the climbing wall. A week ago, Warren was up at 3 a.m. with such pain, he found Nanette's climbing rope and was Googling how to tie a hangman's noose. Today, he's climbing. Yesterday was the first day in 4 years that he hasn't had pain. Listen to this.
I'm fucking blown away, Claire. I'm gobsmacked. I want to do nothing else in my life but sell LifeWave. I couldn't give a fuck about cannabis right now. I know there's serious medical benefits in it, but oh my God, this is another fucking level. I never ever thought I'd climb again. I did try once or twice, and it was terrible. It was too much on my arms, and it was just my leg fucking ached afterwards. And I'm charging. I've got the energy of a Red Bull. I think I could run faster than Max Verstappen's Formula One car today. I just don't know where to begin. I don't know how to. It's too much to process. The loss was so great, and the simplicity of recovering the loss is just astounding. I'm fucking blown fucking away. I feel as the highest I've ever felt in my life. I have my whole life back. My whole life is back. It's the one piece of the puzzle that was missing was the greatest piece that made the puzzle an ugly puzzle, and it slotted into place. And thank you for your persistency, and glory to God. That's all I can say. It's phenomenal. This Schmidt guy is like, I want to write him a letter. I feel compelled to, and I'm at a loss for words. I'm sitting here, and I feel as happy as the day I used to walk off the crags with Tony and Rion and Ari and whoever I climbed with, and Ross, and I feel I'm back in my community. I'll be doing this for 6 months, regaining my strength and my technique. I'm fucking heading outdoors again. I'm on it. I've got my life back. Everything. Every tool to live it. Every hobby to enjoy it. And hello. Boom, boom. Swing. Hi. Guess who's back? Back again.
So, yeah, I told you, I get stories like this every day. And this is what I talk about spiritual. I could have missed it. I could have missed it and not told anybody, or not even watched that first video, and not hear stories like this every single day. And this is what we have here. We've got something absolutely powerful from a man who, I mean, David Schmidt, for me, this is all channel stuff, but he's a scientist and he was able to take the channeling and work with it. LifeWave actually almost fell apart in 2018 because, and then he said, let's try with X39, see how the people react to it. The first things reactions were great. And basically the company was selling 20 million a year in 2018, sold 28 million in 2020. Last year, 2023, sold 430 million, and going on for $1 billion this year, if not definitely next year. And so company with a huge growth, and with a man who's absolutely committed to helping people's health and wellness, but also helping people with their financial anxieties, which is why he decided to continue with LifeWave as a network. It started as a network because he developed the technology for Navy SEALs. The towers went down. He said, maybe I'll take this public. He's talking with a company called GNC in America that sells, I think, all those powders for bodybuilders and that sort of stuff. And then he had a business lunch with somebody who said, I want to introduce you to a possible investor, who said, I want to introduce you to a doctor, who introduced him to another doctor, who introduced him to Coach Richard Quick, the guy who's the coach for the Olympic swimming team, Michael Phelps, in 2004. They won all those medals. The medals were held back. They had to prove that there was no pharmaceuticals going into the body. They did the proof. The patches were analyzed. It was understood it was only the body's light going back into the body, and the guys got all their medals. And that was the start of LifeWave. It's very, very powerful in the sense that it started organically, and here we are now. So I've said a lot. Jenny's got her hand up, and then I'd love to hear from Feroza, Luda, Haley, Roderick, Jenny.
So, George, what would you suggest if you say these are the 4 things you should do to get started? What would those 4 things be for new people?
First thing is be connected. Get onto all the Zooms you can. Take part in what's available to you, and there's plenty. That's one thing. Be consistent with the use of the patches. Use your patches every day. Track it with the health tracker. Please, do you know where to download the health tracker, Jenny? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we
So-
do have it. Thank you.
Then everybody has their own process, and some people want to wait 3 months. Some people want after 1 day they want to share. So share and get it into your head that we're not selling anything. We have a doctors and medical professionals group, and there's a man talking about, there was a whole discussion about the money side of things today, which I responded to, and other doctors who get it also responded to. So, I will never take a packet of patches and sell them to somebody. People think they're doing me a favor by giving me money. I've sold hundreds of thousands, maybe 1 million objects in my life. Everything from total rubbish to contemporary art to a hotel to events. But here I'm not selling anything. I'm sharing something, and that's what one needs to. Number 3 would be, as soon as possible, get this to go from your head to your heart. When it goes from your head to your heart, there's nothing anybody can tell you. I mean, people will tell you things all day long. I was at a dinner the other day, and this lady said, I'm very skeptic. And the other lady, the man on the other side, said, I'm very skeptic. They were talking. I said, hey, Mr. Skeptic, meet Mrs. Skeptic. Mrs. Skeptic, meet Mr. Skeptic. So get it as quickly as possible from your head to your heart. Number 4, every day. Every day. There's a coach. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, John Maxwell. Has anybody ever heard of John Maxwell? We're famous around the world. He came to Orlando, and he's probably mid-70s, mid-late 70s, and he said, I've got to chop down a tree. He says, but look at me, I can't chop down this tree. I mean, look at me. He says, but I've got a very sharp axe. What I can do is I can go out and see the tree every day and give it 8 chops. And the people said to him, but you mean every day? He says, yeah, every day. But what? Every day? Every day. Chop, chop, chop. Not all day, but every day. But not 5 different trees, not 10 different trees, the same tree every day. So those are the 4 things I would say.
Cool. Thank you. So maybe maybe Feroza or Haley's got some questions about getting started.
Feroza's in the dark, so I don't even know what she looks like. Okay, Roderick, something to say? Haley, something to say? Something I can help you with? Microphone. Yeah,
Sorry,
now.
you're a techno peasant here.
A techno peasant. I love it. Do you know, I heard a word the other day which I hadn't seen. There's a lady, she works in South Africa for a lung specialist, but she was talking about quaxines.
Oh, quacks.
I've never seen that word, so techno peasant. Okay, tell, what would you say?
No, I've got no questions right now.
Thoughts?
The thoughts are, I'm going purely by what I've witnessed, what I've experienced with the other interactions we've had with, as I said, with Jenny and her ilk. And then also, Haley was very excited about the X39. And normally when she's like that, especially recently, what I do is I pay attention, not only because I'm a husband and if I don't listen, I get a smack around the ears, but also what happens is the sources, the references that Haley has, as I said, are very credible. And it's almost as if by some osmosis. By some osmosis, what Hayley benefits from, I also get. So just my comment is I'm willing to try it. As I said earlier, I won't try anything once, but I think it's going to be a lot more than just try anything once for me. The other thing is the 3 points for me are that one, I have a particular aversion to creams. So patches are, and Hayley will attest to that. So patches will be an ideal vehicle.
And sorry, I missed one word. An aversion to what?
Creams.
Cream.
You know,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
So patches appeal to me. The second thing is our son is autistic. And we've always been very open-minded and willing to try anything. And
We have a group of autistic parents. It's mostly in Spanish, but there is English. If you wish, I can add you to that group.
Not right now, John, not for anything, sorry, George, not for anything else. But we're also just going to look at the efficacy with compared with or how it will interact with the other medication. But I want to just try it with him. And
it won't look with it. With
no, that's fine. What I'm saying is, I'm going to just put him onto it also.
Okay, but to just talk about medications, because we're sending our own body's life back into our body, and our body cannot, with our own body, do something to harm itself. We can with our heads and what we do, but our own body won't. And then that was another discussion in the doctors group. And I'm going to look for something that was said today between one doctor and another. Just a moment. I'm going to read it out to you. But I'm glad you're going to use the patches with your boy. It's yesterday, Alex, Javi and Olga's son was here. He's, as I said, he's autistic and was a headbanger, needed a helmet. You wouldn't know. I mean, you just think it's quiet. A boy who's a little bit quiet. Sometimes he's doing this with his hands, but he's a quiet boy. But most people have no idea anymore, which is wonderful. And in their case, it began after they took those childhood vaccinations.
Okay. No, but just a benefit for us as parents is that we not only open to it, but we're going to give it a shot. It's not reticence on our part. We will be getting it for him also. So on just from that perspective, I'm already quite positive about the impact that it would have in his life also. I have no doubt that it's going to do something for us. I have nothing to lose. And the other thing is also, we have a lot of potential clients lined up between now and growing our client base organically. And I can already see how something like this would help them also.
What do you do when you're not talking on Zoom with Jenny and Candice?
I don't do the talking. Hayley does the talking. Even at home, Hayley does most of the talking. But
let's hear you, Hayley, because so far
I've had to keep quiet. That's a new thing for me now, but to keep quiet and listen. Yeah, I'm actually quite excited. I would love to I also said I would love to have passive income. I would love to be financially free as soon as possible. I've given myself 5 years. But I wanted to just be so I'm just I'll be happy if it's sooner than later.
So give this energy for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Your money life changes absolutely. Totally. There's a little bit to learn on where to place people, how to place people. There's I talked at the beginning of this call about seeing if I can inspire. So I do a lot of inspiring but at the same time, when it's the right time, can sit down and talk about the practical side of it. There's not such a lot to learn. What I say is this: 80% of this is the work we do on ourselves, 20% is the mechanical, technical side of how it actually works.
Sorry, thank you, George. George, I would actually appreciate if you can put us on the chat with the autism or autistic group.
Okay, so
yeah.
would somebody connect me with you on WhatsApp, and then I will do that. And I will give you, even though it's mostly Spanish parents, there are also English parents on that group. And with the DeepL.com translator, that's fine. You can follow all the threads. And, you know, that's been very powerful for the parents to learn from each other.
Thank you very much. Thank you, George.
You're welcome. You know, it's amazing. The lady I told you about, Sandy Feist, I connected her with a lady, well, I was talking about her, and a lady in Mexico said, such an inspiring story, can I meet her? So we did a call with her, and they connected really well between them. And then the Mexican lady said to Sandy, can we get you on a call to talk to our people? So that was about, I was translating English, Spanish. Somebody else was also translating, but it was very inspiring for them. And then I said to Sandy, you know, I do these things as well myself, because even it's people I'm not working with directly, one learns a lot. And she said, thank you so much. I learned so much by being able to share her experience and her knowledge that kind of makes us stronger within one. I guess that's how I would say it. So Zoom has suddenly put Deb where Jenny was and put Jenny where Deb was. Anyway.
You know what I also wanted to say, which is really lovely, especially for like Haley and Roderick. You see already there's a group. There's like-minded people here who are conscious, who want something different for their kids. So the community that we have through our groups is just wonderful, and people sharing online, and you know, it's just really nice. That's all. You get brought into a community, which is lovely, really lovely. So welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
It
so
is.
much. Thank you.
I'm going to read to you what Dr. Olufemi said. There was a doctor who was on the group who's saying, you know, you can't compare patches with stem cells, injections. And the other doctor said, dear Des, I think you neither know the power nor the value of these patches put in your hands as a practitioner. I've been a doctor since 1978 and had my electives in surgery at Guy's Hospital in London. I was a dyed-in-the-wool doctor for the first 18 years of practice, but I noticed that what I was delivering was far below my expectations as a savior of mankind with my knowledge and the tools at my disposal. I returned to school and studied nutrition, which added a completely new layer to my knowledge base. Over the past 30 or so years, that has been constantly refined. I learned to understand that the body is smarter than I could ever be with all my knowledge, exclamation mark. It has signals on impending disease in the blood 2, 3, or even 4 years ahead of any disease profile, if you know how or where to look. I had been quite successful at it until I came across LifeWave. What I received was the final piece of the jigsaw of human health space. I do not sell anything to anybody, not even patches. I show my patients the benefits of using the patches and they choose what to do. Quick example, 70-year-old patient, been my patient for a number of years and was so satisfied the entire family became my patient. Had a stroke 3 years ago and developed right-sided hemoplegia. Let me turn off Feroza. Oops. So, and developed right-sided hemoplegia with a spastic right arm. Could not even put herself in the bath. I gave her 5 days of Aeon and X39 and show her how to use them. On day 4, Her daughter called me and demanded to know what is in the patches, as her mother had put herself in the bath and done the necessary without the daughter being aware. She decided they could not stop this magical process. After only 5 days, they chose to buy a sleeve of X39, and I supported them with a sleeve of Aeon out of my own pocket. Cut a long story short, the lady is back at home in her country, better than she had been in the last 15 years, including the years she was my patient as an alternative practitioner. I do not have time to tell you about my grandson. That's a story for another day. Don't even begin to compare this with stem cell injections. They don't operate in the same paradigm. Stem cell injections try to tell the body what to do. LifeWave technology simply stimulates the body to do what it was created to do without any possible blowback, since it does not put anything into the body. I respect your experience and your opinion, but I would ask you, open your mind a little wider to encompass what you currently see as impossible. Once the knowledge moves from your head into your heart, nothing will ever change your opinion. I pray that I have not stepped out of line. Just relating my experience of a physiological adjustment that occurs in the body when given the chance to repair, renew, and replace on its own terms. Amazing, huh? From one doctor to another. So I don't know what else is left to say today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope that was helpful, inspiring, and just reach out to me when you need. On the practical side and on the other side, I got the more successful we each are, the more successful everybody else is.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with someone this morning, and I said to her, you don't work for me, I work for you, which is the total other way around of any business, where people that you employ work for you, but the people we introduce to this business, we serve them.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So don't forget to put Haley and Roderick in touch with me by WhatsApp. So I
They
can
have
add
your
them
number
to-
already? I gave it to
Okay,
them. Yeah, they'll get hold of you.
cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, George. I really appreciate it.
Hope it's useful, and reach out to me directly whenever you need to.
Sorry, George, I don't know if you can hear me.
I can.
It's Firoza. I'm so sorry, man. I'm trying to go into the meeting on my laptop, but it wants to do an update. And on my phone, I don't know how to put the video on.
Oh, well, never mind, but good to hear your voice.
Sorry about this. So I wanted to ask a few things. So the person above me is my sister who made me join.
She made
And
you join.
Made me join, but she's the one who introduced me to this whole.
Inspired you to join.
Yes. And I must say, I have been using the patches myself. And, I think maybe I was even going through a bit of a depression because I'm feeling much better now that I'm using them. So today I've got on 4 patches. I've got the X39 behind my neck. I've got the X49 on my belly button, below the belly button. And then I've got the Aeon by my ear, and I've got a Carnosine on my chest. Because I just needed a bit of a boost. And really, I am feeling energetic. I had a good day with work. And I used to really dread my work because I do regulatory pharmacy work, and I've been really dreading it.
Which is a kind of especially the times we're living in, I guess it can give you quite a headache.
Yeah. But so I had a very good day today, and some of the people that we've introduced the patches to, they're also doing really well. One of my cousins' husbands, he suffered from peripheral neuropathy. He's a diabetic, and he had problems sleeping at night, with the pain in his legs. And he's feeling much better now. In fact, the first day that he used it, he WhatsApped my sister to say, you know what, it's made a huge difference. The pain in the one leg was gone in the first day, you know, and he's doing much better now.
So
So
that's amazing to hear, and it's wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. And, you know, it's like, you know, all these stories inspire one to redouble one's efforts. I share David's, I don't know how that went down, Singer. I don't know how that came from. I share David's vision, or I want to take part in his vision. I saw him for a moment alone in Orlando. I ran up to him and I said, "Hi, David. My name is Georgian. I'm from Mallorca. I live in Mallorca, from London originally." He said, "Thank you." And I was at that time executive director. And he says to me, "Thank you for what you do." What's he going to say? He doesn't know me from Adam. So I said, "No, thank you. We need you, and the world needs us." And this is something that, for me, is a driver, because it's exactly how I feel LifeWave. And you know, if we can get this to 1 billion homes, you know, this fractured world will definitely, the expansive ripple out from 1 billion homes will definitely help this world, which needs plenty of help at the moment.
So I want to ask a question, right? So yesterday, you know, because there was a special, you know, my aunt called me, and
Right.
my sister showed her the videos and introduced her to the product and everything. And my sister is traveling, and my aunt couldn't get hold of her. So I enrolled my aunt under me. But now, is there a way to reverse it and put my aunt back onto my sister?
How many days ago did you do that?
Just yesterday.
Oh, it can be done. You need to write an email to customer service EU.
Yes. Okay.
At lifewave.com.
Yes. So Jenny did send me that link and that email address.
And please tell them, my name is this, and I enrolled that post. My name with my ID.
Yes.
And I enrolled this person by mistake with me instead of with my sister.
Okay.
This person's ID is that. My sister, can you please move her? And then get her, copy that email to her, that she can send it to them as well and say, please move me from this person to that person. We have 5 days to do these things without any issue.
Okay, so tell me now I'm under my sister, right? So if I have people under me, does she benefit in any way? Because it seems like she got very upset when she heard about my aunt put under me.
It's like this. I might tell your sister that your aunt should be below you, because then you're working together as a family. When your aunt goes with your sister, you're working by yourself, and your sister and your aunt are working. You're not working together as a team. So
I think, sorry, George, can I just so what could happen is that Soraya will have her aunt as a personal sign up, but she will put it in under Feroza. So that's what happened. Is Soraya thought that she should be her personal, and Feroza was helping her aunt out because Soraya's away, and that's where the
fair enough.
So,
so long as they're
it'll
on the
still
same
be under Feroza, but just personal to her sister.
On the same level.
Okay, so I can ask them to do that. Okay.
Yeah, and now the other part of your question of how does that benefit? When we begin to grow, and Candice begins to see this from this week, she's been seeing this for a while. When we are binary qualified, that's with one person on each leg in silver or above. You then start to receive 25% commission on any cycles. What is a cycle? A cycle is when you have 660 points matched by 330 points from your weaker leg. So that gives a cycle. So when you have a person in your first line with a cycle, you receive 12.5% of what they receive. When you have 6 cycles, which is what Candice had, you then receive 20% from your second line of invitees. And when you have 10 cycles and you've helped 2 people, 1 on each of your legs, to reach director and each have 6 cycles, you then receive 20% on your third line. And that's very, very powerful. I think Candice might be able to underline that this week, because it was the first time she hit her second cycle. And then there was a significant jump in what she received. Were you pleased about that, Candice?
Yeah, and it's just amazing, see, actually, because every week I'd been getting 3 cycles, 3 cycles, 3 cycles, and then I got 6 and I ended up finishing on 8, which is amazing. And this week I can see it's already just going to get better and better. How does it?
But you see, even though I told it to her, she didn't get it. When she saw it, she gets it. And this is what I talk about. It unfolds it kind of in front of your eyes, and that's what's amazing. And I'm sure she found that inspiring, which will also help her to inspire further. Am I correct? Yes, she's nodding her head. Okay, thumbs up. Firoza, so is there something else that I could respond to?
Yes, I wanted to know about thyroid. Somebody mentioned that they had some thyroid issues and it's no longer an issue. What is the best remedy? Because I had my thyroid antibodies were raised. The anti-thyroid antibodies were raised, and I am on Euthyrox. So I'm wondering.
Are you in the doctor's group?
Yes, I am.
So you saw that conversation this morning. And I don't think I could add anything useful to what was said, except to say that I have a person, Spanish lady from Madrid, who has a 30,000 member group. I think it's on Telegram or maybe it's on Facebook in Spanish, from people who have thyroid issues. And she was able, after 6 months of X39, her blood tests were showing huge improvements. So that's what I can tell you. I'm not a medical person. I'm not in the health world, but I'm good on remembering stories.
Okay. Okay, I'll have a look at the medical group. I didn't look at this morning's chat.
So Dr. Allison was talking about her results, and I think Merle was talking about her results as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I don't know why it's giving me thumbs down now. What? A thumbs down. See what it does. It's doing this. It should be doing that. Maybe I can get the balloons again. Balloons. I don't know. Anyways, so let's stay in touch. The more connected you are, the more easy it is to be successful. Candice, there's the Believe convention, which will be in July. If you guys can get onto that. If not, I don't know how far you are from each other, but maybe Candice can share a Zoom with some of you.
I bought my ticket today. Summer party at my house.
Okay, cool. So I'm not going to be there this time because I've got to go the other direction. But I will meet Candice person to person, face to face in August, because she decided to come on the LifeWave cruise to Greece, which is great. And you see, meeting the people face to face, people who you work with and people from other teams, is super powerful. In America, everybody speaks English or Spanish, but pretty much everybody speaks English. But in Europe, we speak 15 languages probably. So I have people, Romanian people, and people in the Romanian team help. I don't know if any of you saw the interview I did with a Romanian lady, Alexandra Niamtu. Did you see that? Okay, I'm going to send it to you, Candice. Please share it. She's amazing. She was working on a cruise ship, as you did once. She saw somebody with a patch. She was working in the gymnasium. She had really bad skin. And she saw somebody with a patch that kind of, touched her somewhere. And she's stopping. He's got to go now. Okay, Brian, 19.
Sí, para no molestarte.
No, pero si tú puedes buscar algo, si no estoy casi acabado.
Bueno, voy afuera.
Okay. She sees a person with a patch that strikes a chord in her at every single port. She stopped off it. She tries to find more. She spent her last money. She received her last money. She spent her last money on a diamond pack. She went to Denmark to meet the people. Went back to Romania, where nobody knew about Lifeway, where the average wage is $500. She's 36 now, and she's built a 7,000 person team in Romania. She's wonderful. You'll meet her, Candice, but I'm going to send you the interview I did with her, and please pass it on because I think it's very, very inspiring.
Oh, that's so cool, George. And you know, the power of manifestation. A few months ago, did I not have a conversation with you about wanting to go on a cruise? And then it just happened. And the beautiful thing about it is I was able to pay for it up front without owing any money on my credit card. Do you understand how incredible that is? I've still got a credit card that I refuse to pay more than 1,000 Rand a month because that's a whole other story. But and that's from a trip that I did in Egypt in like 2019 that I'm still paying off. And I was able to pay for this cruise and everything up front. It's just, my husband and I have been together for 23 years. And I have not been able to meet his family in Italy because it's just been too expensive to go to Europe with Rand. So we go to Thailand because that was always cheaper, but Europe was always off the table. And now we're actually going to go spend 3 weeks in Italy with his family. It's going to be so amazing. We've never been able to do that. And my dad asked me today, have I got a budget for it? And I was like, yeah, it comes in every week. And I don't even have to think about it because it's in dollars. So it's not far off from euros. It's amazing. It's like a dream come true. And it's just, Merle said, and George said, once you really start getting it going, it's like unstoppable. It's just amazing how it grows so beautifully and people's lives are changing.
And this time she's paying for it. This time she's paying for it, but maybe next time she'll win it. I was fortunate enough to win that cruise, exactly. And I'm taking my daughter with me.
That's so amazing. That's so incredible.
Yeah,
and they give good. Do well. You get. George has been able to go on every single trip that they've had since I've started, I think. Yeah,
not everyone, not the first one, but after that, yeah. We got Marrakesh coming up in November.
So I just want to say, I have a screensaver on my phone that I've had probably for about 5 years. I have a continuous, ever increasing inflow of money greater than I can imagine and beyond my wildest dreams. It's coming true.
Super. So the thing is, remember what I said, every day, every day, every day, every day. And when it goes from here to your heart, every day gets really easy. And Brian's asking me what to do now because he's covered half the kitchen with plastic because we got a lot of sanding coming tomorrow and dust. So I'm glad while we were talking, I feel I'm in one of those. What's the guy who covered? Where is? I think it's upstairs in the garage in Unalata. What's this guy who covers cliffs with plastic? I feel I'm in one of his artworks. So, guys, thank you, and stay in touch.
Thank you very much.
Count on me.
Thank you, George. Really appreciate it. I've got to get going.
Thank you, George. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
God bless. Bye-bye.